Hello everybody and welcome to another MX Bikes video, and today guys I hit 200 hours on MX Bikes, and as you can see I'm really good at the game, guys. I'm really freaking good. Alright, you know what that means? Hit that subscribe button. Alright, if you're trying to see some amazing MLG Anaheim gameplay, hit that subscribe button. What the? Landed it. Oh my god, if I landed that, bro. It's because you didn't hit the sub button. If you hit the sub button, I would have landed it, my guy. Also hit that like button. And yeah, 200-hour progress video. I'm going to be talking about some things in this video. I'm not just going to be riding, because if there's beginners watching this video, maybe you're at 20, 30, 40 hours and you still don't get the hang of the game or can't get the hang of the game. I understand completely. I've had a lot of experience with motocross games, and so I think it came a little bit more natural. I'm still not great at the game. I still can't compete at like a pro level. I would just get absolutely dusted by anybody, but I can now play the game, get on a track, and run consistent laps pretty easily. I wouldn't say the game is hard anymore for me, but I can't be fast, if you know what I mean. Once I start trying to be fast, it's like I might get 2 laps, dude. Like it's tough. But I will say the biggest thing I've learned is definitely traction, and how to deal with it, right? So when you put your suspension down, traction's a little bit easier. Obviously, the OEM tires help out a lot. Counter leaning in your turns, trying to avoid tucking the front. All huge things. I think the biggest thing is suspension, though. So if you're tucking a lot, maybe in Supercross, put your suspension down a little bit. Do 2 clicks down on the front and the back tire, and you might not get as much pop. But if you're playing a motocross track or even a Supercross track, you're gonna suction up some of these jumps, especially on a motocross track if they're going through braking bumps and stuff. If you lower that suspension, make it a little bit softer, you'll be able to ride right through those braking bumps, dude. They're not gonna send you anywhere. You're just gonna glide right through them. And then also in these corners, you're gonna sink into them, and you're not gonna lose that front end as much as either. And then I'd say a lot of people have asked me about how do I whip, right? It's kind of hard to explain how I whip. I don't whip like other people do in this game, it feels like. As I die whipping like an idiot. So I've tried to figure out a way to explain it, but I lean back, right? I think that's the first step. You should never lean forward when you whip. I don't even know if that's a possibility. At least when you're taking off, right? So yeah, lean back and then kind of just bring your body weight to that side that you're whipping, right? Because you're trying to move that back end of the bike, and so you gotta lean back and you gotta push to whatever side you want to whip the bike, and it'll go that way. And I think it's just up to practicing and learning some finesse moves and stuff. I can't really describe it. There is no one way to do it. It also depends on the situation as well. Whether it's a scrub whip, you're trying to do like an oppo, or you're trying to just reposition on the downside of a jump. It comes down to stuff. You know what I mean? Like right there, I want to get on the ground quick, and so I kind of didn't let that front end get up very high. So it all depends. And then honestly, I would tell you as well to practice on, once you get a hang of the game, practice on a decent E-road, right? Now that we can change E-road, I'd say move it up to like 2, 2.5. Get on a Supercross track, motocross track, whatever you're trying to practice, and turn it up a little bit, and practice with E-road, because I think it helps you a lot with traction. It also gives you something to catch when you're in corners and through rhythm sections, and obviously you can also see kind of where your line is through the track as well. But yeah, those are some of the main things I've learned as far as traction and whipping is concerned. What else is a huge thing I've learned in this game? I think as far as consistency, that just comes down to practicing. I think when I got to about 50 hours, it was between like 50 and 80 hours. Not even been like 40 to 80 hours, whatever it was. I kind of felt like I hit a wall in how good I was. It might have just because I wasn't playing the game as much. I was literally playing the game like on Saturdays, recording videos, and then just not playing all week. And so I just wasn't as consistent. But I feel like I might have kind of hit a wall in that section. And you just have to push through. You just have to keep playing the game, keep watching people play the game is a huge thing. Obviously, you need to figure out your settings. That's the main thing, right? Settings is a huge part of this game. Bike setup's a huge part. It's not everything by any means. If you suck, then I mean, it doesn't matter what bike setup you're on. You're not gonna ride well. So, yeah, make sure your settings are good. Obviously, worry about traction. Practice traction. You know, find what bike you like too. I really haven't done that yet. I'm not gonna lie. I'm at 200 hours, and I honestly don't even know. I kind of just ride the bike that I think looks the coolest. And I like this model swap. Is the Cowie better? Probably. Do I like the Husky more? Probably. But the Yamaha looks cool, so that's what I'm riding, right? I'm not riding competitively, so not a huge deal. But yeah, I'm going to switch to motocross right now and talk about some more things. Alright guys, I chose Glen Helen to be the motocross track. I've actually rutted this track up pretty dang good from just riding it and not resetting the track. And so, yeah, I'm just going to talk about kind of my thoughts on motocross. This is where you should start, I think. Unless Supercross is what you like to do on this game only, then I guess you can start in Supercross. But motocross is where you're going to learn to play the game. And I really suggest turning that E-Road up, dude. Now that we can do it, I really suggest it. I think it makes people a lot better. And I think it just challenges you a lot. Especially when you're in online races and stuff. E-Road gets kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie, dude. It gets kind of nuts. Honestly, if you're a beginner, get on this track, dude. It might not make you want to play this game much. Purely because of these uphills, dude. I'm not even going to lie. I mean, obviously, if you're like a complete noob. Like, I would say I'm still a beginner. Like, if you're a complete noob, do not get on this track. Just because it's going to be hard, but I think if you're still a beginner like me, you can learn a lot from a track like this. Alright, I don't know how I got up that uphill, and basically what I did there is I didn't lead back or forward. I think the mistake is leaning forward, and what happens is you get that back swap because you're not putting weight on the back of your bike. And then if you lean back, well, you're going to do a freaking wheelie, so yeah, I think if you just sit in the middle there on these uphills, that usually happens too. Yeah, if you sit in the middle of your bike, you don't move the weight of your rider, you should be able to get up those uphills. At least somewhat fast. I don't know how the pros are doing it, but in this triple, I freaking can't hit this triple, bro. I case it every time. 250 things, bro. Yeah, again, traction is a huge thing. I think learning throttle control as well, especially in Supercross. I should have said this when I was on the Supercross track. Throttle control and the ability to be smooth around the track, bro. People don't understand this. When they go on like an MX or ATV game or a milestone game, and then they come to these games, right? The immediate thought is to push that trigger down. Just push it down. That's how I get fast. Push it freaking down. No fast rider is just pushing the throttle down, pushing the brake down. It's all slow and gradual movements. It's carrying speed. A huge thing that helped me is no brake motos. I wouldn't use the brake. And it makes you have to use throttle control. You can't go full power into a corner or even out of a corner because you can't brake in that next turn. And it's something anyone could do. You could be a complete noob at this game. You don't need the brake, especially when you're a noob, because you're not fast enough to even need to brake. Like, for right now, the rest of this video, I won't use the brake at all. I'll show you what's possible. I don't know how I prove it to you, but I do have the sound for the brake on, so if you hear squeaking, then I'm exposed, alright? But I'm not going to use the brake at all for the rest of this video. And I think what this will help you with is it'll help you with traction a lot, because rolling through corners is, I think, the best way to tackle a corner as far as traction is concerned. Right? Let me get some speed here. So I'll do it on this downhill as well. I'll do no brake. We'll see if I can make the corner. Because I think it kind of feels like it's impossible, but it really isn't. I didn't go very fast there, but I don't know. No brake modes is something that really helped me. I did it on Washougal, the paid version of Washougal, the 2022 version, on MX Bike Shop. I would recommend you get one of those tracks, the track that you like the most, those pro motocross tracks. They're great tracks to practice on. And yeah, I would just get one of those, try to do no brake motos, maybe turn the E-road up a little bit if you want, and just learn how to be smooth, man. I used to play F1 a lot. I had like an F1 phase where I just play F1, the F1 video game, and that taught me a lot about throttle control. Because on that game, if you take off traction control on that game, your wheels are spinning if you move that trigger just a little bit. So learned a lot playing that game, and just, yeah, learn to carry your speed. It's not about just, you know, who's the fastest guy on the throttle. It's about who can carry the speed through the corners, get off that brake the most. And yeah, I think that's definitely the most important part. I mean, anything else I can think about, I don't know. As far as what lines you're taking, especially when you're a beginner, take the outside lines. You know, just learn the flow. You know, inside lines are tough. Now that the physics are a little bit better with slow physics, I think inside lines are probably a little bit easier now. Especially on Washougal with that S turn at the bottom of the hill. I used to freaking wad myself on that turn all the time, and I think it was definitely Poboso's physics, not really my fault. And so since they've kind of fixed that stuff, the game should honestly be easier for beginners. And so, yeah, I mean, that's really all the advice I have. Obviously, watch good YouTubers, watch their settings and stuff. My settings are not great. A lot of people want to know my settings. The reason I'm not showing them is because they're just not, like, good. Like, I really haven't focused on them. I mean, I don't know. If you want to see good settings, go to a Lens video, go to a King Rider video. Like, that's where the good settings are at. They're not on my videos, alright? At some point I will make one, but for now I am still a noob. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.